Oh, that's an echo.
That's all, that's me.
Okay. Noel, are you all set to? You can hear us okay?
Yes, I can. Good evening,
Yeah.
guys.
Right, thanks for participating, because we need the fourth, as I said. So we are, I don't know how many cells they got it. And this is not touchscreen, so you want to just tell them it's okay, we got that. You gotta open it because you're.
Oh. All right, well, I guess we'll get going, so, pursuant to Governor Healy signing a bill H 343548, act relating to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency is extended by the state legislature in March 2023. The Bellingham Conservation Commission will offer a Zoom online option for our meeting tonight at yeah, they're already on, they probably know that already. Do I have the reading of the advertisement for the first hearing? We have to reorganize first. We have to reorganize first?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that is the first thing?
No.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, right.
it's right there
Yep,
too, yep, yep.
Gotcha.
Do we have the
Posted hearing.
hearing,
Yes,
So it's been.
the readings for the,
so,
each hearing?
yeah, so, your first hearing
Yeah.
is, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, but
You know, I just want to
actually
make sure we have them
Yeah.
when we get ready to rock and roll to read the notice of public hearing. I think that's what it's called.
So, well, it's chair, it's gonna be, it's ready.
Thank you. All right, so. Commission reorg. We are short a chairperson. Do we have any nominations for a new chairperson? Do we have any volunteers for a new chairperson?
Nominate, Mike.
I second that nomination.
Yeah, I think you have to ask.
Are you willing to accept, Mike?
Yes.
Right.
John said.
All right, well, then I'll put it to a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Hi.
It's nearly unanimous,
I won't vote for
except for the victim.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mel. Thanks, Steve. And, as chair, I will move to take nominations for vice chair as currently Neil is vice chair, but if the other two members that are on would like to take that upon themselves.
I nominate Neil to continue.
Second, Noel?
I do second.
Okay, thank you. Neil, would you accept vice chair? If
Yes.
so, okay. Don't see any other nominations out there. And all in favor? Aye.
Hi.
All right, opposed? All right, thank you.
Yeah, aye.
Sorry, you said the aye first time. Okay, thank you. So we are thusly reorganized, and just for the minutes, Tim, I'm gonna mispronounce your name. Icardi. Icardi, thank you. I was gonna say Icardi, but Icardi is acting as interim administrator, so he will be continuing to facilitate information forwarding to us, and applicants should route in information as well as requests for hearings and so forth through the town administrator's website, correct?
Yes.
Ann Matthews' website, even though Tim will be picking those up this spot.
It's being monitored.
Right, it's being monitored, so that's just for the public record while we continue to look for, we are looking for 2 Conservation Commission people to come forth from the public in town. It's a very interesting organization, commission to belong to, and committee to belong to. I've been on for 14 years, doesn't feel like that. I kind of lose track, gets to be a lot of interesting places in town and participate in protecting probably the most important resource in town, that being the water resources in town. And open space as well, which is also important, but we need 2 more people to make the board back up to full strength. And so anybody out there in the public who knows of someone who might be interested, please reach out to the commission on the website, town website, and we will gladly give you the full skinny, as they say, on what's involved, and you're welcome to come and just participate either online as an observer or in person as an observer, and get a sense of whether you'd like to do it before making any kind of commitment to do so. We'd appreciate it. Volunteerism in town is unfortunately sometimes pretty hard to come by, and this is an important role. So we're looking for some people that are interested in helping support the town. Thank you. Okay, we are at the time to go to the first hearing, which is 10 Cutter Street. It says Cutler and Cutter, Cuter. I think it's supposed to be Cutler. Cutler Street. And that's right. Okay, great, thanks. So we have been asked by the applicant to Jody Willis and the representative Paul DeSimone to continue the hearing as
They're going through, they are going through the ZBA process first.
right, and the ZBA is essential before we can approve our portion or even formally finish hearing it. So I will accept a motion to continue. Tim, this is where I'm going to count on you. Not knowing what the agenda is for the next 2 meetings in August, do you see them as being
What I'll
one
do is,
versus another?
well, I'll reach out to them to see when they are gonna be ready. I don't think this one's gonna be ready for the next meeting,
Okay,
but Paul did agree to a continuance on it.
right.
We can schedule them out. They've already had several.
Yeah,
continue.
my feeling is that unless they know that they're gonna have the information
I
from
want to
ZBA.
I want
Right. Well, I think
We have to.
I think we have to give a specific date, I believe, to meet the requirements of the.
Yeah, we have to
So
schedule.
even if we put it out for 2 meetings and then they're not ready, we put it out again. I think we have to have a date.
Well, I think we could go to September. I don't think they'll be ready.
Okay, well, I'm gonna put my calendar September. Let's see what person gets scheduled meeting in September should be September 13th, I think. So, do we know of anything on the agenda for that far out? Okay.
I don't.
Okay, so why don't we say, we will tentatively, well, not tentatively, I will take a motion to move this hearing for 10 Cutler Street to the evening of September 13th at 7:05 PM.
So moved.
Yeah, second. Thanks, Neil. Okay, so moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. All in favor of moving the meeting to that hearing to the 13th of September?
All right.
Aye.
All right, yeah, against, okay, good. Thank you, unanimous. We're gonna be coming up to, we do have the applicant's representative here for 0 Railroad Street. Isn't that Trail American?
That's your ring code?
Yeah. Oh, almost out of there. Okay, so, Daniel American, you were, am I pronouncing that correct, Dan?
Yes, American.
Is here to give us an update on some changes that have been made in the plans, I believe.
Yeah, can I have permission to share my screen?
Pam, could you provide permission, please, for the applicant's rep, Dan, to share his screen?
You should be all set.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Well, you are in the same room as we are, so it's gonna be slower, you know that. With internet.
I wonder if is that laptop plugged in?
no, this is over my
Yeah, that's
phone.
your
over
Wi-Fi,
Wi-Fi. There we go.
Okay, looks like getting connected.
Great. I can see that you can see that. Okay, so we have prepared, when we came to you last, we had shown you a revised design, and basically the big comment that came out of that was you wanted us to reposition the road to minimize the amount of wetland filling at the crossing. And so we have a very narrow strip of wetlands that comes through here. Originally, the road was, this is the existing cart path that comes across. Originally, the road was just on the upper side of that cart path. Then we shifted it down into the cart path prior to the last meeting, and then coming out of that meeting, we shifted it even further, another 40, 50 feet down on the screen so that we could minimize the amount of wetland filling. And that basically, this little wetland filling ends up being 648 square feet. So the replication area that we had showed you previously, which is located over in this area, in an area with better hydrology and an existing cart path, will be twice the size of that filling. There'll be a little bit of temporary wetland filling to build the retaining walls that will be restored in place after the walls are installed. And then we will remove the cart path and the existing timber bridge, and we'll do a replanting of that wetland area there. And that results in additional creation of wetland areas or restoration of wetland areas, if you will.
Dan, how much of the reduction from the first option to what you've revised to by shifting it up, have we?
It's about half. It was around 1,200 square
I
feet.
thought it was over. Oh, okay.
It's like now it's about
650.
648, I think is the number.
And does that impact the number of trees and so forth that need to be removed by shifting it over that way? Because I know you're going up through an already sort of cleared cart.
There
path
aren't.
area.
I don't think there are any trees in that
Uphill
whole
there,
area.
across the loop?
I'll have to
Yeah,
check.
that's true. I know as we go up the hill, there was some stuff, but.
As we were coming up the slope, you get into a pretty heavy pine grove and there's a lot less vegetation down on this side than there is, as you get down further down and towards the lower wetland area, you get a lot more brush layer of vegetation and more trees.
Right, so going up the hill over the raised area, the culvert and so forth.
Pine overstory.
Yeah, there's a lot less vegetation there.
But you're not taking down as many big trees, for example. Okay. All right, thank you. Now you have.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question?
Sure.
The existing path for the runoff from the vernal pool is going to go under the road.
Correct. We're proposing 2 pipes to go under the rows, and that's probably twice as much capacity as you need to carry the 100-year flow.
Are there provisions for maintenance to make sure it stays clear and doesn't fill up with leaves?
We have an O&M plan, and there is reference in the O&M plan to checking all pipes and outfalls.
And
And
who's going to be
cleaning it up.
monitoring that plant?
so eventually, until this becomes a town road, it would be the applicant who would do all of the maintenance. Eventually, this would become a town road, and this would become a town
It
drain.
becomes the town's responsibility at that point. Thank you.
So the plantings and the replication area for along the cart path that we had identified as being a good spot to do that replication, that's not changing in size. It's just that by reducing it, it's almost now more than twice the amount.
No, we made it twice.
No, that's what I'm saying. You kept that the same size, so it's become, because of the reduction over the path or the roadway, become a 2 to more like 3-to-1 ratio.
No, we made it smaller.
Oh, you did it.
We reduced it in conjunction with the reduction of filling. But you still do end up with more than 2-to-1 because we're restoring the timber bridge portion. So that's in excess of the 2-to-1. That's 351 square feet.
Any other wetlands impacts that have changed from the last time we reviewed this?
No,
Noel, any questions?
So just to make sure I'm understanding, you're doing 2 separate pipes under this proposed road crossing? How come not just a single larger diameter culvert?
I don't know that I don't have a great answer for you there. We thought the 2 would be better. It's a little bit redundant. It's twice as much pipe as you need. I mean, we could go with a single 24-inch. That would be about the same capacity as 2 18s. I don't know what your preference is.
I suppose in the pessimistic view of it's smaller pipes gonna clog easier than a bigger one, that in between O&M maintenance plans, which will be meticulously maintained from here to eternity,
Of
I'm
course,
sure by either the applicant or the town. We wouldn't worry about that, but what does the commission feel about that?
I had the same thought, a larger pipe will tend to stay open.
Would there be any issue with cover?
No,
from the top of the pipe to the roadway?
I'll show you the
Because you
profile.
do have to meet the grade, obviously.
Yeah, I just wouldn't want to impact the,
Wonderful 13 inch.
no, the amount of cover over the pipe.
Well, that's it, yeah.
And I know they were gonna go about 10 feet, so I don't think.
Yeah,
it's
no,
a
we-
big deal.
I mean, we might have to mess around with the water main a little bit, but no, we should be fine. This is the profile view of the road. This is the cross section. This shows the two sets of circles there because, you know, on one end, it comes in higher and it exits out lower on the other side of the road. So we're just showing that full range,
Actually, I was wondering about.
showing the full range of inverts there. No, I think we can make a single 24 work.
Is there a structural, difference
No,
in terms of crush capacity?
no, either one is fine. Either option is fine.
Bigger pipe gets a bigger sidewall, so.
Okay, that's a good point. Thanks, Noel, for that question. I think if the commission feels that 24 inches is good, I think we'd ask the applicant to make that revision. Makes
Absolutely.
sense to me.
Yeah, I think that'll just be easier to maintain.
Just a quick question for Matt. You didn't view these plans yet, have you, or did you get any questions asked to you by Cliff and Ann before we had the last hearing on this?
Good evening. Mike, no, I had not been engaged on this project. We had talked about it, but never did go down that road,
Okay. Literally in this case, right?
as it were.
As it were.
As it were.
So, okay, I just want to make sure that if there was something that had been discussed or perhaps Cliff had mentioned, oh, we'd like you to think about this and get back to us, that we have that input now at this point in time. Okay,
No, there wasn't anything along those lines.
okay, great, thank you. So being new to the chairing and moving motions forward, I'll lean on you, Tim. The next step would be to make motion to approve it, or do we still have you?
We're going back to the planning board on the 10th
Oh,
of
that's right.
August. So I think what I'd like to do is ask you to continue this one more time to a second meeting in August. That way I can make sure that any other changes get incorporated.
Yeah, if we could have the plans revised to show the 124-inch pipe as well,
Yes.
please.
Yeah.
Right, and you might just want to mention to the planning board, because that will be a change that they wouldn't have picked up unless they're watching this meeting or, you know, whatever. And, yeah, we do want to make the plans, be the plans of record for both commissions, and so that'd be great. So we would then want to, unless Steve, go ahead.
Sure. What were the recommendations by the planning board that has you going back?
Well, we have been continuing their hearings since the first one, while we were working through all of our discussions with the Conservation Commission. So I just forwarded all of the revised documents to the planning board and the peer review consultant for them to re-review everything. So that we'll go back on the 10th and hopefully we'll wrap it up.
Anything on their action list for you?
No, there was no, they asked some questions about utilities. Which we have addressed in the revised plans, but really there's not a substantive change in kind of the overall game plan of the subdivision. It's just we moved the road around.
You said the peer review went back, they submitted all those to both the planning board and the peer review. Is the peer review BSC?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just a different side of your group, right, Steve? I mean, Matt, sorry.
I believe that Dom is reviewing this, but I'm not 100% certain of that.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I knew that you hadn't reviewed anything environmental. I just wanted to make sure it was BSC that had reviewed it. Okay. All right, so they're going to be hearing you when? Dan?
10th,
Okay. So.
your second meeting in August, if you.
Yeah, to the 23rd.
Yeah, so, yeah, because we were meeting the 9th and the 23rd, so,
Do we have anything on yet for the 23rd?
There's, so the 9th we have stuff on. I don't think we have anything on the 23rd right now.
that's opportune for you if you like early.
If you prefer that.
Okay, so first come, first served, that's all we like.
9:30 it is.
Okay,
Right.
so last one for it, and Noel, Steve, Neil, any other questions, comments, anybody on the board? This is an open hearing, so if there's anybody online that has a question and wants to identify themselves and come online and ask a question about this particular project. feel free, give me a second to do that if you want.
What time?
So
So you're gonna move it to what date?
we're gonna move it to
23rd.
to the 23rd of August at, why don't we call it 7:15? That way if something easy, approval thing comes in, we can just 7 o'clock.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Dana.
Appreciate it.
Oh, wait, so we need a motion.
And no other revisions other than the pipe?
I don't think so. I think we're good. I think, did you have any?
No,
I'm sorry,
I just
okay.
wanna.
Motion to continue to the evening of August 23rd at 7:15.
Second.
Okay, and discussion?
So I
Yeah,
just,
good.
Procedural, so, let me get this straight, so, he is gonna revise the plan. To show what your revisions are.
Yep.
And he's gonna ride out through the planning board and, follow through with the peer review, and whatever suggestions are made by BSC, and then. After it's approved by planning, you will go in, he'll come back in front of us.
Yes.
And, you'll approve it after the planning board?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
We make sure we have one unified set of
Okay.
plans.
And
We
if
we
planning
don't
board,
approve, sorry, go ahead. We don't approve the plans till it's been through planning board, otherwise they have to revise, you know, if we approve it before, then they have to come back with a revision.
and it is possible,
amendment.
rare that I can think of, that the planning board has made a change which affected something with conservation. But if they want to move.
It has happened
then
tonight,
okay.
so it's just better for everybody just to wait another week or two.
Someone's gotta go first, someone's gotta go last. It's always a question of who.
It's not quite chicken and the egg kind of thing, but it is a case of wanting to be on the same page, literally, both on plans as well as scope of work and all that. We want to make sure that they don't feel they're being.
And then if there are any radical design changes that the planning board may have, then they have time, so they have time to continue it out again and.
Right, perfect. All right.
Can we get our revised drawings at least a week before the 23rd?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So, any other discussion on that? We're voting, okay, we will.
Made a motion, it hasn't been seconded though.
Second, okay. So all in favor of moving the hearing to the 23rd at 7:15?
Aye.
Steve? Aye. Thank you. All opposed, okay. Passed unanimously. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're a little, yeah. We're gonna be, I just wanted to mention for the record that I have to leave at 9:15 for a family obligation, so we hopefully will be done by then, especially if we're able to pull the time in between hearings with other business such as, and since we have a few minutes now before.
Tonight's schedule's brought up. Just open discussion about how we schedule. I know, rather than set fixed times, if we could possibly, as we do with the schedule, we set a fixed amount of time. If we can just fix hearings for a particular evening. I don't know how your experience, how Mendon may do it.
Yeah, so, I would think you'd wanna do the public hearings first. Because we wouldn't be in the situation, so if you think about where we are now, people cancel out and they're not a public hearing, these are continuances.
Right.
You know, so you don't have to take it at a, technically at a certain time. So I think if they're scheduled for the front of the meetings, I think it would probably go a little smoother, and then the continuing, any meeting that was continued, put them behind the public hearing, I would think.
And then just take them as they're.
Yes, that way you can take them, say an applicant is a little bit lower, they're missing out somebody in their team. You could take one in between, but it is scheduled for the beginning, and you wouldn't have to wait till the end, You're guessing at,
Yeah,
time
we've
frames,
run into this many times in the 14 years I've been out, where the commissioners are.
We sit around twiddling our thumbs.
You could
We've done
avoid that.
any filler business like approving minutes or anything like that. We've done all that we can do, and now we just have to wait because we have picked a particular time. And I think part of it has been a wish on previous commissioners in the commission to try to make it as applicant friendly as possible. If they know they're on 7:15 and they're there at 7:15, they know within a few moments of running a little over on
It makes it
another
easier for the applicants, it makes it easier for any members of the public that want to participate, they know when to be here.
However, I
Sitting
think
around for hours.
we may be one of the few boards that does it that way. I think I know the selectmen, they have an agenda and they have it in a certain order and they try to go in the order, I think, but if one person, they have pass over and they go on to the next one, they don't sit there wait for a period of time, and same for the planning board, I think, as well.
I think one of the problems with that is without the fixed time is hearings can, and I've seen this on other commissions, that the hearings can become sort of endless. And it's hard to find an endpoint on a particular evening for a particular discussion, whereas with a fixed schedule, you know,
I mean, with a fixed.
you're
time
done at
limit.
you're done at 7:45, because that's when the next hearing is, so we have a fixed amount of time.
And the usual time period is, for this tonight, it's about a half an hour, that sometimes is a bit more time than needed, and quite often isn't enough time, so you're gonna have to continue to another meeting, but that's understood by both applicants, and
This next hearing, are we opening it tonight?
we are going to open
Is
it
that the
because
plan? We have not discussed this project.
Yes, we have.
this Blackstone and North Street project
Yeah.
is the two of you guys. have
This is a
done before.
continuation.
This isn't a public hearing.
This is a continuation.
We walked the site, just because I don't know if you were involved, at what point in time it came out, it was a while back, we walked the site for the delineation of
Okay, so this happened before I came on.
I believe that we walked it this spring some point in time. I'd have to check the minutes to see when we actually walked it, but they identified where the detention basins were gonna be. They showed staking of the road that they planned to put through. Now,
So next question,
yes,
the drawings that I have are still dated December 22. I know the planning board sent them
back to
a
the
bunch of
drawing board.
revisions.
Yes, there's a lot of active discussion. I think that what we might be doing tonight is getting an update from the applicant. If there is any change to the plans, because I've heard
We don't have,
for things we don't have.
So excuse me, but their first hearing was February 8th.
It makes sense they
Their
do
public
December.
hearing.
that's before,
As before.
which is why I have no notes for it.
Right, then they came back 3/8. And then they were back May 10th. And that's the last
Yeah,
time
and they've
that I
been
see.
back in a while.
Yeah, May 10th, I think is the last one.
Right, there are substantial issues I know still being discussed or have been being discussed with both the abutters in the area that have these, and the planning board had some substantive concerns, which could affect how they redo or if they're going to make revisions. So I think it's gonna be an informational,
May 10th, I was in Syracuse. It's the one meeting I missed.
well,
So they, exactly what you're saying, they had they designed a full packed site, and they've been reducing it, they've been working with the planning board. So that's probably why they haven't got in front of us yet, they're working through a final design, and then they're gonna have to come in front of you and show you what it's been whittled down to.
Yeah, so I'm not sure they have a new plan set ready to show us.
So
from
that's
the December
curious.
plan.
The one planning board meeting I attended on this project was energized.
So,
But they may be waiting for their final planning board
right, well,
plan to show up.
Yeah,
you know,
so,
my plan is to wait for the applicant to come and see what they have to say, and with the understanding that I don't think that we're gonna be doing any kind of approvals or anything, that.
so Ann had them on here.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard anything from them, and I certainly didn't hear, and I didn't get a continuous request either to continue.
So I anticipate within the next 10 minutes, we'll have somebody come online or walk in the door here.
Or not.
Yeah,
Or not,
and you
and
can,
go back to
if you'd like to talk about minutes, you can in the
Right,
meantime.
right, yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up
Um,
next. So yeah, thanks for pointing out or asking about that, Steve, because I wasn't aware of your timing and timing of this particular, in my mind, it's like, okay, I
We're
kind of know.
clearly not working with the current documents. so.
Yeah, right, so that'll be a first point of questions to them and where they are with that over the planning board, when are we gonna see things and how it's impacting, and they can tell us that stuff. if
I think they're
they
gonna have
show
a
up.
whole new set of.
Yes, I expect. If they reduce the size of the project substantially, the stormwater system will probably be redesigned and.
It may not be ready for prime time, as they say.
Okay, so I think one of the things that would be good to fill the next 10 minutes or so with, if we can, at least some of it, is the approving of minutes. Now, I know Tina sent them out on the 19th. Noel, did you get the minutes okay?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Thanks.
I've only had time to, well, first off, the April 26 minutes had been discussed, edited, and corrected by Ann before she left, and so Tina had mentioned that in the email when she sent those. Those are basically just ready to be signed off on unless somebody has spotted something else they want to bring up. The May date was that one? That was the April 26th meeting, I guess. The May 10th, June 14th, and June 28th minutes have not either been brought to the meeting, even in draft form, or have been brought, but not revised by the commission at all substantially as far as Tina knows for corrections and so forth. Is that accurate, Tina? Did I sum that up sort of right?
I have not had any response from anyone since I sent the minutes over
Right.
last week.
I'll say, well, I'm very, as is known, if anybody watched the meetings, very willing to and actively like to read through the minutes, make sure they're understood and clear and everything for me as well as others. I have perused the May 10th ones pretty thoroughly, and I have one or two things, but nothing on the June 14th or 28th minutes. It's been a busy week since we got them last week, and I would be happy to take any comments any of the commission members have for those other ones, but I would like to put those two meeting minutes off to the next meeting to approve and give us time to review them if that's okay with the commission.
Yes.
Referred by me.
Yes.
Noel, how do you feel about that?
That sounds like a good plan.
Okay, so taking them in order, the meeting minutes for Wednesday, April 26th, as I said, have been edited, modified, met on, discussed, and are basically just needing our approval. I'd accept the motion and then discussion if anybody has about that.
So moved.
To approve minutes of the April 26th.
Correct.
Second. Thank you. Any discussion on them? Final thoughts? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you. So minutes for the 26th are approved. Thank you, Tina, for taking care of that. Wednesday, May 10th. As anybody other than myself, any comments on them? I only have two minor things.
I didn't see anything
Okay,
substantial.
Steve, any?
I have no comments.
Okay, Noel?
No, none for me.
Okay, so the only thing I had, and Tina, tell me if it makes sense for me just to highlight these and send them to you tomorrow, what I'm mentioning, rather than you searching through the minutes, but they're only two minor things. One is just a question, and that is on page 2 of 6, where we are talking about the 51 Carolina Drive public hearing. The last line before the motion on that hearing was the commission administrator will add these items that were up above in the discussion to the special order of conditions. Knowing that this happened a while ago, not knowing about the transitions with Ann leaving as administrator, do we know, this is to you, Tim, probably, if those conditions were added to that special order of conditions? I just want to make sure that I haven't gotten dropped.
So, no, I believe they have, because there's a consultant that's involved in this as well. And had brought in a consulting engineer, at the applicant's expense. And
Right.
he was working with Ann.
Is that the Mr. Heim?
Yes.
Okay, I wonder who it was, because Mr. Heim's name was thrown in there a couple times, and I think in the back of my mind, I kind of remembered somebody being involved in it, so that's him. Okay.
So, Ann and Cliff asked him, and I don't know if you recall at the last meeting, but, there was a pile of I don't know if it was hydric soil or just loam that was on site. And they asked him to move it before he started. So the consulting engineer went down, witnessed it, and then okayed it through Ann. So so he could move forward.
Right, and so that project is still being pursued, I mean, it's still happening.
Yeah, so he's proceeding with it now.
Okay.
That gentleman, I don't know if you know, but that gentleman bought that house, and whoever the previous owner was is the one who created the issue. It wasn't the applicant.
Right, we were made aware of that, I think, we did the sidewalk, both the stuff that was left in the back, a lot of that, and the condition of the building itself, which was really had some issues. Above that, the last line, I did notice there, this is the only other corrections to these minutes, Tina, that is that on the two paragraphs above that, commission members agree a temporary barrier below the replication area may be placed until everything has been established. So heavy rain or such doesn't want to put a seed or start the soils moving in the wrong direction. even though it's fairly flat, it's gonna move downward toward the research area. A second layer of wattles need to be placed at the fence. And so if you could just change that to wattles, Wattles. That would be good, since a wattle, as we humorously were matching, is something tough to do, but, and that's the only correction on that section, and the only other one is the next page, same word. Straw wattle is used in the first paragraph about 8 Beach Street on the second, page 3. And the second to the last sentence in the first paragraph, the entire work piece trying to straw wattle with the site of fence. Just a minor typo. I appreciate everything else. Looks good to me. I don't have any other corrections or amendments to it. Anyone else again? So Tina, would you prefer, just as a matter of moving forward process, that I know Ann used to that. I'm not sure what Tim would want to do, but do you want me to send those back with any corrections on them that are approved in the meeting, or are you making notes and doing it then? And what makes sense?
Whatever works best for you. I am making notes as you're going over them. If you want to send them over to me, that's fine. But like I said, I'm making notes, whatever works best for you.
So do you want to approve these minutes?
We
Well,
approve as amended.
changes?
We approve
Yeah.
as amended.
Yeah,
That's our
good,
normal.
okay,
Yep.
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 All right, so yeah, so that's fine. If you're making notes, why don't we leave it this way? If you have any concerns about not catching everything, or if I think that there's something that was complicated, I'll send them along to you. But knowing that I don't want to be overly redundant, if you are making notes, these are fairly simple changes. I think that it'd be one less email you'd have to get, and one more less attachment unnecessarily. So I'll let you take care of that if you would, Tina. Thank you. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes for May 10th as amended.
So moved.
Second? Thanks, Neil. All in favor? Any discussion? No, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you, yes. And we have, as we're getting close to the next hearing anyway, decided to ask you to review, but defer until the next meeting, any corrections you find between now and then, or amendments or changes or whatever that you want to bring up, please feel free to forward them to Tina directly, and she can make a note of them so we have them for the next meeting. Obviously, copy Tim on it as conservation administrator, and then we will review these and approve them with any changes that might need to be made at the next meeting on August 9th.
And if not, you can approve them at that next.
Right, and then we'll approve the next meeting. But
Mr. Chairman.
yes.
If I may. Matt Byrne again,
Yes.
BSC. Yeah, I see that the Hartford Ave warehouse is continued to the 8th of the 9th of August. And so I want to see for your, are you looking for me to continue to attend tonight, or
Well, I know you probably have other things in your life you'd like to do, and I appreciate you coming on a short notice, Matt. The reason I had asked that you or somebody from BSC participate as much as you feel makes sense is because for the 3 projects that are being reviewed tonight, we just did the Snet Trails one, and you didn't have any input at that. But the other 2 projects, if the applicant shows up for Blackstone North or for Bernier Lane, my first comment to them, the applicant, would be, we discussed this last week in our meeting in town, that we don't have the expertise that Cliff and Ann have. So we are going to be asking BSC to, and I think Tim may have already spoken to you about this a little bit, or somebody at your company. Yeah, or more. So I thought, well, heck, if we have to ask one of these applicants to wait while we check your schedule to see if you're available to review something, not knowing exactly whether we would want to do that or not, but it would just add a whole nother 2 weeks on to them finding out what worked for you for reviewing it. And if you guys are too busy to take it on quickly, we don't want to schedule it for the next meeting, et cetera. So that was the only purpose. So it's really those next 2 projects, and not the Hartford Ave one, which they asked to reschedule to August 9th. But I don't think we've actually approved that yet.
No,
And I said,
we haven't opened.
so you're anticipating. Okay, I thought that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so why don't we now that it is it's by 7:45 by my time.
Yeah, that's, you can open that.
I will open the hearing for Blackstone and North Street. The 12 3-unit townhouse buildings with stormwater management system hearing at this time, and ask if I don't know who A Hunt is or TI.
I don't know if anybody.
There are 2 people online who I'm not familiar with, that if either of the 2 of people online are, there's no one in the room here at Town Hall that is an applicant. If somebody has a or in the order, hey Hunt, are you you're muted still, sir.
I'm here for Burning Your Lane.
Okay, thank you for identifying yourself. I hear somebody out in the, are they out here for us? I heard somebody say Conservation Commission in the lobby. Hold on one moment.
Do we know who iPhone is?
I'm not sure,
Android spot?
yeah, Conservation Commission?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
Are
Come on
you,
in.
what hearing are you here for?
Excuse me?
Which item on the agenda are you here for?
The conservation for the townhouses on
Hartford Ave, okay.
Blackstone.
Blackstone, sorry, that's not a second, Blackstone North. Yeah, have a seat, please. We were just opening that hearing right now, so your time is
Okay,
very
good.
good. So we have a couple members from the public, the butters, you're not applicants, correct?
Just the public.
It's a butter, okay, thank you. All right, so we are not hearing anybody, the TI phone online It does not seem to be a member for our applicants, so,
No, I'm actually in a butter too, so
okay, thank you for
Thanks.
identifying,
Thank
keeping the mystery out.
thanks.
Okay, we are in lieu of hearing anything from anyone, and not having any information or any new plans. I would say that we would open the hearing and continue it to a time that we determine at this time, because without revised plans, we don't know if we certainly aren't going to close and approve the project, because we understand it's still under revision and in active.
We certainly wouldn't close and approve.
Right, close or approve it, I'm sorry, thank you. Close or approve it. So the planning board is actively meeting on it, just for the record. And we understand from our administrator, interim administrator here, that they are probably going to be providing a revised set of plans, scaled down perhaps, yet to be seen by us or perhaps even the planning board. So we are going to just continue this hearing until
Mr. Chair,
sometime in the future.
what is the process when an applicant can't or doesn't notify us that they're not going to attend?
Well, they
Just,
they-
ignore it.
a lot of negative kudo points in my view, because the simple courtesy of at least notifying us if they knew they were on the agenda. To give
The
a
benefit.
benefit of doubt, thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Benefit of doubt, given the confused state of not confused, but the transitional chaos that has not ensued, but has occurred to some degree, especially regarding paperwork and notification
But the
communication.
agenda's online, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
They could have had a conversation with Ann, I don't know. That wasn't passed through, and I didn't see any emails, but I didn't go back through, several weeks.
Fair enough.
So I'm willing in this particular case, yeah, if we had an applicant we were working actively with, who just blew us off, so to speak, and didn't bother even telling us. I would want to have some words with them in some way to identify that, what the reason was, and to make them understand that that's not respectful for us. And
Do we want to immediately dismiss the public so they?
well, I would just,
Wasting their time.
they'll probably want to hear when the next date is, so we already
Okay.
pitched to, so yes, at that point in time, I think you'd be welcome to stay or leave as you wish. So,
Do we need to open it and then continue it?
I did
or-
say it was open, and I mentioned that, so I think we're open and discussing right now, but, we need to, I think, since we've.
I make a motion to continue for at least 30 days.
Just give me a date.
That would be either the meeting of the the 23rd, which would be, let's call it 30 days. I think since we haven't heard anything, we know it's still actively being revised, that a two-meeting continuance to the 23rd of August at,
I want to go at, meeting, right?
yeah, you want to pick a time, that's what I was saying.
So why don't I suggest like 8:45 or something like that? We'll
Okay.
put it toward the end, so you can put your public hearings in the front,
Okay.
advertise public hearings.
Well, it is an advertised public hearing.
Well,
still.
it's a continuance.
And
though.
if we have abutters that are interested,
However, I would like to go a little earlier than that for the sake of the abutters that do care to show up 8:45, not that it's the end of the night, but this is one that does have a lot more than I've seen in
And
a lot of
that's
meetings.
fine. I just don't know,
Yeah.
what we're gonna have, for public hearings
Right.
for that date, but it's up to you, guys.
Yeah, and not knowing and knowing that there is a lot of active butter interest in this project and has been from the start of it. who knows, at
Yeah.
one time we would be deferring it anyway if they're not ready for us, so.
So during a meeting, you don't have to take it at a particular time, so, because it's not the first public, it's not the public hearing,
Right,
continuing, so.
I would,
Whatever time.
yeah, why don't we bump it up to 8:15? Is that better for people? Okay, so, I would make, the amended motion, or ask Steve, you want to make the motion? Yes.
Question, Mr. Chair, it's highly likely it will get continued prior to the meeting, correct?
No, I think we have to continue it in the meeting, so we would go.
Unless they, or.
So they would notify,
They would notify us that,
So
yeah, that they're not ready. And then, I would put on there that, I'd tell everybody, Blackstone Street has requested a continuance. And then you would open the hearing, continue it.
Right,
The reason I ask is so no one from the public is sitting here too late. Make the evening early for them.
right, but as Steve pointed out, and we were talking earlier, if this is a continuum, we don't have to take in particular, but I don't want applicants, butters to show up at 7 o'clock, hoping there's the first one on, because it might be bumped around, and. It's not.
So what I would urge the abutters and everybody on Zoom to keep an eye on the Bellingham website, the conservation. And we will post it there and you'll be able to tell when it is on and what time it's on. And if it's been continued, we'll mark it continued so you don't waste a trip down. This one, we weren't informed of it. We could have got across the email. Apologize for that, but it wasn't out of our control.
I'm going to amend the motion for continuation to 8:23 at 8:15 p.m.
8:23 p.m. That's interesting, okay,
it's very precise.
8:23.
no, date 8:23.
August 23 at 8:15 p.m.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion, second? Second. All right, thank you, and discussion? Hearing none, okay, so we have a motion to move the Blackstone North hearing to August 23rd, 8:15 p.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, all opposed, thank you, unanimous. Okay, so for the abutters and for the online people that are participating, it would not happen again before
Okay.
August 23rd at 8:15, that we would hear them. What's happening at the planning board, you'd have to check the planning board website and agenda and participate that way, as you may already be doing. But it's possible it will be continued beyond and to a different date, but not before this 23rd meeting. And again, as Tim suggested, check online
Yeah.
website for the Conservation Commission, and you should be able to see what the latest plans of the event are. All right, thank you. So that's approved.
I will reach out to the that applicant.
Yeah, just, yes, please. Yeah.
I'll send you guys.
Yeah, okay, that's them what the story is.
I haven't heard from them
And
yet.
if they do.
And let them know they're on to the 23rd.
Yeah, thank you.
And that it would
Thank
be
you for
probably,
coming.
Thank you.
tonight, it would be in their best
Can I,
interest to.
can I just ask,
Not to miss another one.
Beg pardon, say again?
hi, can I just ask you a quick question?
Sure, you are, we need to identify.
Yes, yes, my name is Christine Tessio and I'm on North Street.
Thank you.
Um, had a question because the agendas for this meeting are all posted online. And are these meetings now in person? Because it was saying it was just a virtual meeting.
Yeah, we're in the
Are they-
process, we are, it is a little confusing, we're trying this out the first time tonight. Last week, we had a little bit of an organizational meeting with the town. It was a public meeting on the 19th, kind of short notice, but we didn't really do anything except discuss the future of the commission. We are a couple members down, as I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, and maybe before you were online, so we're looking for interested townspeople to potentially observe online or in person and join the commission if possible, but we are going to try at least a hybrid version, as one of the commission members is remote. We'll take the commissioners any way we can get them, but we are trying it on site. The COVID restrictions and the allowance we are given by the town to do Zoom only, by the state to do Zoom only is continued to be extended. At this time, the commission members that were present last week agreed to give it a shot and come in, those of us who could make it on site. And we were sort of going to continue this way going forward, I think. So
Okay,
if you want
okay,
to
no, I
read,
appreciate it.
I think we will
I was
continue to
just
try to
under
meet
the-
the hybrid. Sorry.
okay. No, I'm sorry. I was just under the assumption the way the agenda was printed and is live, on the internet, it made it sound like it wasn't in person. And then I was like, oh no, everybody's there in person. So
Yeah, no,
I just
not
wanted to
everybody.
understand.
Would it be your preference to be in person? Your personal preference?
I think, I think on a whole, like I'm kind of facilitating, letting a lot of the neighbors know and keeping them in the loop. And
Sure.
I just felt like I was giving them false information. If, you know, it is in person, I was saying it was virtual. So, you know, I just want to make sure I'm giving the right information out.
Let's not say you were false, you were just incomplete, that's all, because you didn't know
Yeah.
so much. That's all. Well, I think we're going to certainly work to maybe tweak that communication, I think, so that people can see on the website that it's hybrid, Zoom / in-person option. Do
Okay.
whichever you're more comfortable with at this point in time. And I know for some of the applicants and their representatives who travel from far, not the applicants necessarily, although it could be, but their reps, often a consultant will be coming from quite a distance away, so they've enjoyed the Zoom feature, I think, more than us over the years.
Yeah.
And some are 1 or 2 towns away, but given the short staffing we are, so to speak, with the Conservation Commission members, we have a 7-member board, 2 vacancies at this time for the commission members, and a quorum requirement of 4. So if a commissioner can't make it on site going forward, we absolutely want them to be able to participate in Zoom forum, because that may make the difference between us having a quorum, for example, tonight, where 3 members are on site and 1 is on remote, and not having a quorum, and therefore not being able to hold the business of the commission and having to put everything off, and the applicants are having to be deferred. So we'll
Yeah,
continue
no.
to try to do whatever it takes to have these meetings.
Okay.
Sure. Thank you.
No, I appreciate it. And I know with this particular one, the planning board has it both in person and virtual, and it works great because you do get a lot of people that are working and
Sure.
virtual. So I appreciate the explanation. Thank you. And sorry to take up so much time.
No, thanks for your patience. It's
All right.
time well spent. Thank you.
So Chair,
right.
is it fair to say that all meetings, probably all town meetings, will have both options?
Okay.
That's your better rep for that.
It's gonna continue that way. I mean, unless the state makes a ruling that it's not mandatory anymore, you know, it's not required anymore, we may still do it. Because it is convenient for
I
us.
mean, if the state says you can't meet.
No, if the state says you don't have to continue with Zoom, because they approved the Zoom Act. Yeah, so if they say it's not a requirement, but if you want to do it, you can. You
But
know,
the way the state, I understood the state to say you have the option to continue with Zoom, not that it's a requirement to continue with Zoom.
right, so I think,
But if they take away that, I understand what you're saying. So if the state basically stops saying that you have that option and we need to be on site, then that would change things. But for now, yeah, I think the hybrid going forward.
I think for quite a while, it's gonna be that way.
Yeah, so
We'll just make sure that the website says in person as well.
Yeah.
Right, that's all.
okay, so that's good.
Okay,
and we're
so-
gonna wait on that one.
Can we open 8?
Do we need Matt anymore? Is he still here?
Well,
We're gonna close.
I'm gonna ask Matt a question.
here.
The first, we have closed on the Blackstone North, we're all good on that. The next one we have up is Parade 15, and this is early for that, is 0 Maple Street, which is asked for continuance. So since they've asked for continuance, whichever is the correct term. Continuance or continuation? Continuance. We've got 2 people here, one's the one, well, either one's correct then, how about
We're
that?
going to continue it.
Right, we're going to continue, thank you.
Continue.
Okay, into continuum. We can move on that, and then I'm gonna talk directly to Matt and ask him a question about scheduling, so maybe he can leave after that. Yeah, I know it's early for the 8:15 hearing, but since we know this can be continued, if anyone joins us later in the meeting and asks about 0 Maple Street because they thought it was gonna start at 8:15 as the advertisement on the agenda, we will update them and tell them that it's been continued. And stop what we're doing to do that, if we aren't still meeting. So I will open the hearing for 0 Maple Street. The applicant, Shane Oates Center Mountain Land Development, has asked representatives, and the applicant, Nick Tiernan, have asked for a continuation because
they still have to do some testing that was required through the planning board, so they're trying to work.
soil tests.
Yeah, some test holes or something.
Okay.
So was this, did you already give this to BSC for review?
that's one of the questions I was gonna ask Matt, as part of this. So Matt, are you familiar with the location, 0 Maple Street? It's just right next to 495's bridge on Maple Street, opposite the D&D mulch and doggy kennels and so forth?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay. We had walked that a long time ago. I remember walking the site for conservation to determine there was a stream that I think cut through the property, how close they were getting with this industrial.
Something of a violation. Originally.
Yeah, I think, and I'm not sure if they tweaked their plans to move it and so forth. So looking at what was supplied by the town administrator, interim administrator here, Tim, I think that there was some reference, I thought I saw some reference on there that they had changed something, or the date on it looked like it had 2 dates, if I remember.
Yeah, okay, I didn't see that.
Okay,
but
could be.
I wasn't sure if the board prior had requested them, requested BSC's review. I know it's in the riverfront area and a percentage of it is in the riparian zone. So, I assumed that it was going to BSC, but I just wasn't sure.
Yes.
So if we could quantify that tonight, we could get the engineering over to him and I can notify
Right.
the applicant.
So, if we don't know for sure, I'm gonna err on the side, I think if the commission is so inclined, to recommend that we have BSC review this at the applicant's expense to make sure that those areas of riparian zone and the riverfront are properly calculated, and that the now a couple of years ago, I believe, when we walked this a number of years ago, that the markings and so forth are accurate, and that if there is any need for us to do another site walk or take other action, that they review that. Is that pretty clear, Matt? Is that clear enough for you for the go requirements?
Yes, typically what, when you, when you have a project that you think you want to send to me, you can feel free to, what I would need to do is take a look at the notice of intent filing and any materials that are in your hands in support of a filing. I'll take a look at kind of what I'm being asked to do and come up with a proposal for you regarding the fee and what specifically I'm going to review, just so that everybody's on the same page. And if you approve it, that goes to the applicant, and they are expected to put the fee into a dedicated fund. And then as soon as you get confirmation that that's been done, I hit the road, and we'll do a site visit and begin the review process.
Okay, that makes sense, Stephen.
A couple of comments.
Sure.
Personally, I'm familiar with the area. I think it interacts with the Charles quite a bit. Certainly the watershed area, it's right
Yeah,
there.
it's not the Charles, but
It is a stream of something.
yeah, I think
The stream itself is
yeah.
not the Charles, but
Yeah.
it interacts with that, the whole water resource area.
It is a stream because it does have riparian zone on it, so, but I just don't know what the name of the stream is.
And I certainly would like to walk it.
Sure. Okay, so I think as a first step, though, if the commission so inclined, and Noel's just chime in if you have something you want to add. I don't want to forget you're there. As Matt has suggested, I think we would need to have Tim, our administrator, forward to Matt these packet of information that we have, plans and so forth, that Matt could review it, come up with a proposal as he suggested, a rate, send that information back to us. We could forward that along to the applicant, and if they are willing to do that, great. If not, then we go on to other responses, but to have them review it and then come back. Also, at that point in time, Steve, maybe a site walk would be appropriate as a good timing, and we can work that out. Does
Okay,
that make sense?
Yep, so just a clarification. So when the board decides to engage BSC to review a project, how long, so, and we send the information, so that'll be at a meeting. We'll either have the engineer forward all the information to Matt.
Right.
And how long from that point will BSC need, depending on the size of the project, probably, so we can reschedule a hearing?
Talk about a setup, man. Perfect. Thank you. That's exactly what I had you here for, Matt, because I don't want to try to commit you to a certain time period and have you say that that's not. gonna
2
fly.
days, 2 days.
I think, oh, let's give him 48 hours, come on.
Yeah. So basically, if you take a vote tonight to send this to peer review, then tomorrow, next day, Tim can get the materials to me or whomever. You instruct the applicant to send them to me. I think Ann would usually forward the package that you folks were holding. And then well before the next hearing, 2 weeks on, like, so I would get you a proposal within a week or so. So that you can look at it, and at your next regularly scheduled meeting, you can approve, you can vote to approve the proposal or not. So it would really be just tonight you decide, yes, we are going to send this for peer review, and the following meeting 2 weeks later, you should have a proposal in hand that you're ready to vote on, to approve or accept or not accept.
And upon our approval, it then goes to the applicant saying, here's what the Concom wants you to do, needs to have you do with the peer review, the scope, the cost, everything else. They have generally, I would assume within a week or 2 weeks, they're gonna say yes or no. If they say no, that's one avenue, but if let's assume they say yes, then they would directly.
They have to create the funding account.
Right, correct, funding account, but assuming that happens again, also, if they say yes, I assume they create the funding account, because that information is provided by Tim, I assume, to them, saying, here's the package, everyone's cost, you need to set up the account, here's the information, set it up. Once we get that, we can give the peer review the go ahead, and things can continue to proceed. We would probably schedule a meeting then, the next continuous for this, so at least 2 meetings out.
Yeah, and then really it becomes a matter of getting everybody's schedules aligned, and I'm usually able to, once I get the go ahead, once you guys sort of give me a green light that you've accepted my proposal and the applicant has put the funds into the account, you give me the thumbs up, and then I start making calls and trying to line up a site visit.
Okay.
And then it can progress. If it's a really complicated project, it like we had over on Prospect Street a little while ago, it can take multiple hearings and all that. If it's a relatively straightforward thing, we can get through it quickly. But we begin a pace as soon as you give me the green light.
Steve, there's another drawing set that goes back to December.
Okay. Oh, this year?
Last year.
I mean,
22.
Yeah. Okay. That's the one that you sent along to us, right? Yeah, I know that we walked it more than in 2022, a little further back than in 2022. Noel, just putting you on the spot. I think you were on that site walk, weren't you? Do you remember when we walked the site with Cliff and Ann?
Yes, maybe in March, I'd say.
You can narrow it down to the year. You don't have to get a month. Which year do you think? It was a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
No, I thought it was this year. Sorry.
I'm pretty sure we haven't walked, because I remember several months ago, Ann Matthews mentioning that they haven't done anything on the site for a long time since we last saw it, because the developer was doing whatever, hadn't decided to move forward, and it sat there, and I've driven by that site for at least a couple of years and glanced over repeatedly, seeing if anything seemed to be going on, and there's some trailers there and some equipment and so forth, but no activity ever have I seen. So, and whatever the time period is, enough time's gone by, I think that's.
I don't think that's, I don't know that that's.
Just the more time has gone by, the more I think we need to actually really look at it thoroughly.
Oh, yeah.
Matt, a quick question for you. I think Tim said that he thought that the planning board was asking them to do some work. That implies that the peer reviewer might have been contracted by the planning board, you guys, BSC. Do you know on the engineering side, do you have somebody that might be in your office that you need to check with and see you already have some of the stuff working on this for engineering as opposed to wetland science?
I certainly can. Dom Rinaldi is our peer reviewer on the engineering side, and I'm certainly happy to to check with him in the morning and see if he's already working on this in some capacity?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's BSC that is reviewing that, but it could be. So if you could check, I'm not sure offhand. I'd have to contact someone from the planning board to see.
Okay.
Sure.
I just don't want to be, I would be redundant if you guys already have some plans and stuff in place, or somebody's looking at that part. But we certainly want to look at the environmental side of things, I think, so.
Well, he'd still need the NOI and all the
Yeah,
final.
oh yeah, we don't want to set
Uh,
everything up.
Speaking of which, it's not on the agenda. Do they have a DP number yet? File number yet? We shouldn't really be having the hearing if they don't have a file.
I think so, no. Having that, the 6-digit one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a 105 dash, we don't have.
Yeah, sure. Well, everybody's 105.
Yeah.
In Bellingham.
Gotcha.
You can have a hearing, you just can't close it
Yeah.
if they don't
Okay.
have their number.
Okay, good. Well, we certainly aren't gonna close this anyway, we're just gonna,
I don't have one here, but that doesn't mean they don't, there is one.
okay.
Just one of those, before it
Yeah.
goes on too long, they really need to get that.
Yeah.
Because we need DEP's input and
Make sure
their
there's a
thoughts
file-
on the
make sure there's a
original.
file number.
Yeah, and on the original file, they submit some of
Comments.
their original comments,
Yep.
so we take those to heart.
Okay, great.
And
So.
just one more comment, just in this vein, it's certainly, I do a lot of peer reviews on the wetland side where the town has hired a different firm for the engineering component or the planning board. So that's certainly workable. If it turns out that it's not Dom on this one, or BSC on this one, that doesn't really typically present a problem. for the
Doesn't appear it would be.
wetland stuff.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Steve, any other input, question? Noel? No? Okay.
No, none.
Will Matt wear this shirt?
Will Matt wear that shirt?
I'm happy to,
There you go.
or not, if it offends anybody.
So we are looking then, I think, to extend this to at least a month out. And in the meantime, Tim will reach out to the applicant, let them know that we're going to be pursuing, if I get a motion and an approval for this. Sending this out for peer review with BSC for environmental impacts, and Tim will provide the packet as well. If there seems to be something missing, Matt can, certainly we can actually ask the applicant to send it along too.
And we can work through the approval process at our next meeting without having to hear about this. That's just the housekeeping on.
Right, and we will look for at the next meeting, or between now and the next meeting, a packet, as you said, Matt, perhaps within a week. Thanks for that time frame. I would have, yes.
Can we get that on our agenda to discuss the peer review for this project, please, so we don't forget?
That'll be on the 9th. We'll discuss that, but we're not gonna be reviewing the project, just.
No, just discussing the
Peer review proposal status.
Yep.
And,
So Matt, I'll get you the package one way or the other. I'll either have the design engineer send everything to you. And so you can provide an estimate. We'll provide it to them, let them know, and then we'll move forward with that.
Perfect.
Okay, great. Thank you, Matt. Bear with us one moment, please. We'll look for a motion to move this to
August go to the 23rd.
23rd, I guess, and since this will be a continuation, we can put it on whatever time. It's not the, oh no, that was new, but it's a continuation now because, correct?
For
Or 0 Maple, because
it's just
the second time we.
Yep.
Just, yeah, so, I'll take a motion to move this to the meeting, August 23rd meeting for the 0 Maple Street hearing. At. You got the agenda line, you thought that, I don't pick a time there, it's right on top of another.
So what day do you want to continue it to?
23rd. Let's do the 23rd. That gives Matt time to respond, us to get feedback from the applicant and know whether we're moving forward.
Okay, so we'll say 8/23.
Yeah,
August 23rd.
but not 8:23 PM.
Let's not-
Everybody's talking
Let's not keep doing that.
No, I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I write the
The
date.
23rd, okay, and then you can select a time, we've got May 15 at the latest thing, do we want to put it on before that sometime as an early
You
filler?
have a 7:15 and an 8:15 now. And these, and those are both continued hearings.
The SNET will be short. And they should just be presenting the new plan. We'll just double check the new plan. And hopefully, if nothing comes to the planning board, we'll just move to close at that point. So I don't think we could probably put this on at 7:30.
Yeah, I think that's fine. So 7:30 on the 23rd of August. Thank you, second. Second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Bye.
Thank you. Unanimous. Opposed, nay. Okay, thank you. We are good on that one then. The August, the next one, which was not scheduled till 9 PM, but again, is another continuation request, so I'm going to take it ahead of time. With the stipulation that if we are still meeting and someone comes on to ask about the status of the 217 Hartford Avenue project, we will inform them at that time. That when they tell us that's what they're for, that the project has been requested to be continued, and I will accept a mode of having opened the 217 Hartford Avenue project at this time. Hearing, I will accept a motion to continue at the applicant's request as, do we have a reason given?
So yeah, he
Weren't
was,
available.
yeah, he was having trouble assembling his team with vacations and stuff.
Yeah.
We have Cutler Street at 7:05. On 13.
Oh, that's right. No, on the
He's requesting the 9th.
August 9th.
Yeah.
Right, I don't think, we don't have anything on for the.
Not right now.
I thought you said that we had a couple things up lined up for the 9th. That's why we were pushing things.
Um,
Oh, not that the 23rd is fine.
I think we were pushing people to 23rd because that's when
We'll
they
work
needed to
that
be pushed to.
Okay, so we did say,
Yeah, so there is I know he requested the 9th. I'm not sure. I would have to look.
Look at what.
I don't think there's anything else on the 9th at this point.
Okay.
I think,
Sorry, what was that?
I think the 9th is open right now.
okay, all right, then fine. That's, there's no reason to wait that much longer, I don't think. Matt, I'm gonna ask you a question about this. This project, given the scope, the complexity, the number of outstanding issues that I'm aware of, as well as probably after rereading some minutes and so forth, I'm gonna be adding to that list. One of the things we discussed last week was the fact that the change in membership and the 80 combined years of expertise that was often available on short notice and didn't need to have the entire commission and peer review missing now with Bellingham. I think the commission that is here now, the present members, are going to be counting on you guys. Are you available at BSC to do peer review? I'm thinking pretty much every site walk that we go on, I'm gonna ask to have somebody from BSC with us for this particular site, this location. And as well as perhaps leaning on you more heavily than you might have been otherwise for feedback and input proactively as much as possible in anticipation, rather than us saying, you know, what we think, because I think this is a very complicated project. So to give it its due diligence, if we are going to be scheduling sidewalks, can you give us any heads up on this as to what, because they generally like to at each meeting schedule a sidewalk to look at another wetlands replication area, et cetera. If we are pushing this off until the 9th for the Hartford Avenue project, what would you like to tell us if you know of your availability for a sidewalk? Say, I anticipate if we meet the 9th, they're going to want to try to do the 12th or the 19th or the 26th sometime in the following couple of weeks. Another sidewalk. Are you generally available in August? Or are you going to be gone for a couple of weeks?
No, generally available. I have done my vacation for this summer, so
You do look very rested, I gotta say. Relaxed. That's good.
Yeah, so generally speaking, I am available. I don't currently have, I think you're gonna retain kind of the early Saturday morning
At
approach.
this point in time,
Yes.
I'm gonna review that with the other two members, both Noel and Ariane, who's not on today's meeting, and make sure we have as many people available as possible. In general, if there's a change in sense, I'll let you know, but I think Saturdays work for the most members we can get right now. Saturday mornings, would probably continue to work well. They always have a good turnout on Saturday, so I know that they got nothing else to do. Kidding. They're happy to
Yeah.
come, I'm sure. Okay, good to know. So we will keep that
Generally
in mind.
available.
Okay, thank you.
Have we discussed on 217 Hartford Ave when we're continuing this to on the 9th?
No, I'm just, so I can ask that now.
There's nothing in his letter
We were,
relative to a time,
There's nothing in what?
in the WS letter.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
At a time,
No, right, no.
just a date.
Yeah, so I'm amenable to moving to the 9th, and since we have nothing else on the agenda, allocating a half an hour or so to the, I would like to keep the first 10-15 minutes open just to make sure we have, if we have something quick, we can stamp that needs to come up before it's in. So I'd say 7:15. Unless anybody else has input on that. So August 9th, 8/9/23 at 7:15 PM. I'll take a motion on that to continue the 217 Hartford. Thank you, Steve. Second. Thank you, Neil. And discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you, unanimous. All right, so that's on until 17th. Okay, Matt, one moment if you could, Mr. Hunt. Adam Hunt, are you there? Can you hear us? Okay, I see you're
Yep.
on. Great. Are you, Adam, are you gonna be the only rep or is the applicant also gonna try to come online?
I think I am the only rep.
Okay, good. So do we have your okay? Because we want to not hold Matt up any longer for the last hearing anyway for the night. But if we are going to be wanting to do perhaps a, even though this is probably a fairly straightforward project, cursory question of the commission, if they feel we need peer review, I want to make sure Matt's available. Can we proceed with the hearing out of schedule and take it now? Or are you willing to be heard, about an hour earlier than you planned tonight? Is that okay with you?
Yeah,
Okay, if
Absolutely.
any butter comes on, which I don't think has ever been the case, almost ever, with a septic system repair, as this one is, most neighbors want to see that people repair, their neighbors repair their septic systems. We would gladly, fill them in on what's going on or do whatever if we're still meeting. But I feel, given the scope of this, even though this is a first request we're getting, correct?
that's correct.
And first request we're getting, that in this particular case, taking out of order wouldn't be bad. We do not have a DEP number for this yet, do we? Do you know if we have a DEP number yet, Adam?
I do not. I don't think we do.
Okay. Because we cannot, as you may have overheard, we cannot close on. a
Yes,
hearing
I did. I
without-
did hear, yes.
Okay, I mean, we can hear what you have to say about it. Matt, if you are willing, if you see anything while the scope is being described that jumps out to you like it's more than just a standard septic repair. I mean, we generally, I have not ever dived into the engineering as to whether the septic system is approved. I think really that's more for the health department to determine if it's
That's
gonna
their,
work.
that's their purview entirely.
Right. But if the wetlands, if you say anything related to any kind of impact that they are filing with us for, when Adam described it, if you want to speak up, great. If you say, no, this looks like not slam, but a straightforward project that we don't need to have run by you guys, I trust that you would give us some good advice on that, and then
Then potentially we can have Tim slide by and have a look.
Right.
Make sure that everything's.
does that make sense, Matt?
Yeah, sure.
I do have a question for him.
Yes.
If you could ask him if he has the green cards.
Oh, yes, Adam, do you have the green cards notifying the butters?
I do. I can bring them. I don't know if I have them all. I will check tomorrow. They're in the office. I can bring them to town hall.
No, we don't need them. We just need to know that
Oh,
you have.
Oh, okay. I thought you did need them. Okay.
Are you, when you said you aren't sure if you had them all, that uncertainty level just makes me want to ask the question on behalf of the butters. How confident are you? What percentage roughly do you think you have without looking at them and counting them for this particular project? How many butters are there? Do you know how many you had to notify?
I want to say in the about 30-ish,
30? Okay, that's.
give or take. I don't, actually, you know what? Give me 1 second. I can tell you for sure.
Okay, and then the second question, if the number is as high as 30, given the density of the location of them being told that it is, I kind of really want to make sure that.
Well, people don't fill them out, send them back.
Right. know that, I would really want to know how many responded. If it is what it is, you can't force them to respond.
We need to have. If you can provide it to us.
Okay,
So
so,
we never.
Oh, I'm sorry, I think I way over, no, it's about 16 I'm seeing now.
accept them, but if he wants them.
Oh, no, I thought you did.
No.
Okay.
Beg your pardon, sorry, you get.
Sorry, it's a little housekeeping here, sorry.
Say it again, Adam.
16 of others.
16 of butters were notified. That's the total number that needed to be.
2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at this. This is, oh, it's only 8. It's only 8. I was mixing it up with something else. It's only 8 of butters.
Okay, so eight needed to, and as far as you know, were notified, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, as.
Yeah, we typically, we have always taken the applicants'
Okay.
word that they did send them out and that they do have the green cards back. And if it ever comes up, if anyone does ever challenge that, then of course they would have
They
to.
would have to provide. Yeah,
Yep.
they would have to.
So.
You know, I apologize. I was mixing it up. I do have the green cards for this.
Okay, so as you heard, Adam, probably, we won't ask for them unless an applicant, an abutter comes forward and says, I never got notified, then you can show proof of that to us.
Sure.
We can show it to them, then that's fine. That almost never happens, but we just have to ask to make sure you're prepared to do so if needed. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
All right, so we'll open this hearing for 8 Bernier Lane, septic system repair. For the applicant is Wendy Hanson of 100 Taunton Street, Plainville. And the Adam Hunt is the representative from Level Design Group to give us information on the notice of intent request, which is still like in DEP number, but we will address that in a moment. So go ahead, Adam, if you could just, do you want to share screen or?
Yeah,
what do
if
you
I could just share my screen.
All right, Pam, if you could.
He's all set.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Again, I'm Adam Hunt with Level Design, on behalf of Wendy Hanson. Project is 8 Bernier Lane. It's an existing 1-story dwelling, 2-bedroom dwelling, along Lake Hiawatha.
Adam, are you thinking you're sharing the screen? Because we don't see anything yet.
Oh, you're not? Oh, I apologize. I thought it popped up.
We see you. Oh, there we go. That's fine. Much better, maybe.
Okay, good. 'Cause I wasn't pointing to too much yet.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. It's an existing 1-story, 2-bedroom dwelling.
I like Hiawatha, right?
Yes. With a failed septic system, and we're proposing repairs in the front. It's a very small lot, very limited space. We try to stay as far away from the lake as possible. Obviously, I mean, it's the building sewer is the closest point. We had to tie in there. But it's complete replacement, building sewer, tank, pump vault, and the bottomless sand filter for the soil absorption system here. As you can see, we've got the silt fence along the property line here, proposing temporary stockpile location along the front here, and a stone construction entrance here on the existing drive. Yeah, there's no work within the 50. I think the closest, if I can zoom in here, it's about 85 feet, I believe, is the closest disturbance.
In which direction there? You pointed out with the mouse.
Right here from the lake to the building sewer connection is about 85.1 feet.
Okay, gotcha. That's out there.
And that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward project.
So it, let me just get the feel for this. So it's coming out into the tank. Then it's feeding over next to the shed to the pump.
Yes.
And then it's going around the shed to a tank.
Yes.
What's an Advance XAX20?
It's a bottomless sand filter.
Behind, right next to the shed, and then that's feeding out into the sand filter.
That's absorbing into the ground.
Sorry?
That's the soil absorption system.
You wanna
That-
say that again in?
That's the soil absorption system. That's the leaching facility.
So, and how, what are the dimensions of that Advantex?
Um,
Doesn't look very big if it's a quarter or less than a quarter of the size of their shed.
19 and a half by 4.
No, that's I'm talking, what's the small Advantix AX20 right next, up against the shed?
Oh, I'm sorry. No,
Is that an intermediate tank in between the pump and the leach field?
Describes it as a berry unit. BURY berry unit, you say with cover to surface? I don't see it on the plans.
It is on.
No, I see it on there, I
Oh.
don't see a detail of it on the plans.
No,
let me just bring up the detail sheet.
It's soft. Temporary stuff. Yeah, that seems to be lacking on the plans here.
Apologize here. I'm trying to see it on the septic
You haven't noticed the plans?
plan.
Steve, Tim, you haven't noticed the plans? He's looking at something in this screen that does not seem to be what we have.
yeah, that's,
He's
Oh,
got more details.
he's got a lot of pages. He's got a lot of
Well,
pages.
that's the question, Steve, I mean.
Yeah.
We only have
yeah,
the one
yeah.
plan.
So it's like, we're gonna call up, paper form while you continue to look for your.
This is the same. thing.
Yeah, I don't see a detail for it. And I did not do the design specifically. I did the soil testing. So I honestly, without the detail, I can't answer that right now.
So he doesn't have any of the Board of Health stuff here, other than what he's showing, really, what he's showing here is just the buffer zone and how, what the, how the
Existing
closest
condition,
impact, right, the closest impact, of what they're proposing, which is, it's 85 feet from the BVW line, and it's all in the front yard away from it, but there's no, I don't know if that tank is either.
So
I've
the
never seen that.
leaching area, that's the horizontal grade area. In front of the house, between the house and the road, just behind where it says temporary stockpile. That is the leaching. Solution for this revised septic system, is that right?
Yes.
And can you describe, again, we don't have the detail laid out here for us, what is the makeup of that leach field? Is it pipes? Is it, you said something about sand?
It's a deeper, narrower, system rather than like spread out trenches or a bed. It's a much deeper system with deeper vertically, smaller horizontally is the
So
simplest.
pipes and stone or sand and pipes?
It's just sand as far as I understand.
Just sand.
Do we have
I don't have, oh, sorry.
Board of Health approvals on this system yet?
Where are we with Board of Health approvals, Adam? Do you know?
I'm not sure. Like, as I said, I did not do the design initially. I did the testing, so I was kind of off the project for a bit. I apologize.
Oh, you just had it.
Yeah, okay,
Oh, no, definitely not.
so my question about that leach field was, it did look kind of narrow and therefore deeper, but we're not sure if it's pipes and stone and so forth. I understand you don't have that information in hand right here, because you didn't design that per se, you did more wetland installation, but bottomless sand filter, 19.5 inches long by 4 feet wide. Is, I don't frankly like the word bottomless used because it has a bottom, so that's a misnomer right there. But I don't recall ever hearing of it, and I don't know every septic system out there designed for sure. I'll be the first to say that, but I've never heard one that's all sand. Is that unusual? Do we know?
So,
Tim,
is this a pump? Did he say there was a pump?
It was a pump going around, yes.
Yes.
Adam, is this a pump system?
Yes, there's a 20.8.
There's a pump right next to the shed.
That's part of the system. I think when you're using that, it's not due to a gravity issue. It's part of using the bottomless sand filter technology.
There's a pump vault.
So Adam, where's the groundwater at?
That's what next one, I guess, what's groundwater, we got deep.
The groundwater is, let me go back to the second. We took held a depth and elevation of 230.7 based on the testing we did,
So what's?
which
the
was
depth?
48 inches down.
Okay, so it's a basis.
What's
And the
bottom?
testing was in the exact location, or more or less anyways, and vertically.
Well, okay,
So it's a raised system. It's a raised system.
the system is then a raised system, is that correct? It's elevated above, if the depth of groundwater is 4 feet and in this. Still, the bottomless sand filter is 4 feet wide, but it doesn't say how deep it is, it's bottomless means it goes forever, right? I'm kidding, what is the actual depth of this 4 feet wide, 19.5 feet long? Sand filter, leach field design, because this is new look to me, I've seen different types and I don't think I've ever seen it. If it's raised up in order to provide the 4-foot clearance, which we would require, then
Yeah, so
you'd be up above the ground if it's full.
he gets 1 foot of relief because it's a repair.
Okay.
So Title V says 4 feet above groundwater. He gets, Adam, is that correct? You're getting 1 foot of relief because it's a repair?
And I think because of the technology, there's
Okay.
further relief. I would have to check with Dan, who did the design, and I can get back to you on that. Because I think there is far less separation than the typical, or would be 5 if this was a 2 minutes per inch. Obviously, yes, you're correct. 4 feet, you'd be at grade already with your separation, raising the system. So, and being that we're not grading here, and that's not the case. So I think the separation is
2 feet. Oh,
is less, but I
What elevation?
apologize. I can't see with the detail where he's calling
No,
out.
2 feet. I said it was 4 feet.
Yeah, he did say 4 feet.
He said 4 feet.
Yeah.
So
So,
it's 48 inches.
yeah, 48.
Oh, that's 4 feet.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Do a minimum 2 feet on a detail. So I mean, it was the intention to provide 2 feet of separation.
So you're looking for a variance on this, correct? Or they are, from the health department?
The upgrades are for the setbacks from the property line, the
Yeah, right.
No, they are.
the basement
No,
wall
right.
and the water line sleeve, separation for water line. I don't, yeah, we didn't list anything for that.
Jurisdiction. Yeah. No. This. Okay.
This.
Okay, sorry, we're still trying to make that and tell with jurisdiction. All right, so if you are jurisdictional and the building and part of the septic system at least is running right through the 100-foot wetland buffer line, you would be asking, I apologize again, because we were talking as you were describing your answer, I think.
That's okay.
Are you looking for a variance to get away from having to do even the 2 foot? Or are you saying you can do it at 2 foot and you think that that's approvable because of the fact you're doing the technology combined with the, as Tim mentioned, the fact you're doing a septic repair lets you get a foot of relief?
I believe so, because it isn't listed here under the local upgrades, and as far as I can remember, with my minimal experience with those technologies, mostly I'm more familiar with Presby and Chambers, that there is a reduction, and the way he has it designed and called out with a minimum 2 foot separation and no further explanation. Not to say that means it's correct, but I would assume that there's some information that I'm missing that it is allowed.
So that's a Board of Health regulation. So I think,
But it's only because it's in the jurisdictional area.
and it's a repair, but so what I would, what I'm looking for is erosion control, going from one side to the other. You have this stone swale on one side. I'm not sure, okay, so they have a 12-inch diameter, silt sock here, which is wrapping around the stone, the proposed temporary stone construction entrance. It goes up and he has the proposed sock going right to the dwelling. And right around the whole excavation area, which is right on the 100-foot buffer zone.
Right.
You know, right on the inside of it and outside of it, so they are pretty far, he is pretty far away and there's a house in between, but I would think, you know, to clearly mark where the silt sock is gonna go, he has it marked on both sides with the X's going through it,
Right,
but on one side it's like open, it doesn't even
right,
close to
by
the
where the
house.
shed and the driveway.
Yeah,
is.
it should close here, you know, this
Also,
silt.
okay, there's nothing,
Yeah,
that's it.
and it should, well, it's right here, this right here, he's got this.
On the north
Yeah,
side.
he's got this arrow going to it right here, but and it does go to the house, it closes this side off, but you know.
Well, going from the street from the street down towards the lake, towards that shed that's on the bottom side of the plans as we're looking at them. I see the silt fence off to the side paralleling. Yeah, I see there, no, my plan is here.
Yeah,
No, here is the problem.
Well, that's one, but I'm pointing out over here, I don't see anything across.
He connects with the house.
What's to stop something from flowing down through here? That's what I'm saying.
Well, it goes around the pile
Yeah,
and it goes along this, all the way around here.
but this is down grade.
That's just an access road. That's not.
Well, it's an access temporary stone construction, I don't know about
It's not part of the driveway. The opening that you mentioned, Tim, slopes toward the lake.
it does, very very gradual
Very
slope, very gradual.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Like
if nothing else,
I don't think there's gonna be any erosion from that.
the silt fence should close against the house though.
Okay, yeah, so,
That should come.
Adam, are you?
Where is the silt fence are you
Feed into
referring
what
to?
we're thinking about here. The silt fence appears on the top of the site to have a gap between the house and where it stops,
Okay,
midway along the house. Are you seeing that on the plan there?
sure.
Yeah, right about there. Yep.
So we would want that to continue across toward the house, straight down there.
Close it
yeah.
off.
If that's where you decided you're gonna stop it for whatever reason.
Sure.
So that we don't
Sure.
get the downward flow, even though it's a mild grade.
You could even bring that back further.
I was just
Bring
looking
that
at.
back and
that's-
tie it into
I
the
was
corner of the
kind of
house.
extending past the disturbance, catching the downgrade, but I
You don't
understand.
we
have to-
can't
you don't
hear-
have to go down that far. You could come back to the
Okay.
corner of the house.
If-
straight.
I don't know if you're, I can see.
Oh,
your
I
mouth
see,
moving
just go to
now,
the house
but
and
we can't
close.
hear you.
Oh. So just go extend to the
No,
house.
Still can't hear you.
Oh, I don't know why. It's
You
not-
don't appear to be muted, but I'm not sure why we can't hear you.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can hear him fine.
Huh.
Say something again?
So go extend to the,
I
But I
am not a
can-
lip reader, sorry. We're still not hearing you. We see it in your mouth move. We know you're trying to talk. It's lighting up, but
I can
I
relay
don't
what
know
he's
if there's a
saying. if
technology-
that's
yeah, I'll have
allowed.
her relay what I'm saying, I
nothing we
guess.
did.
I can relay what they're saying if that's all right with you guys.
Pam, do you have any suggestions?
Why doesn't he just type in the chat also?
I'm just gonna close it off
Mike,
here.
you hear
Actual
no-
elevation of
Noel?
the Water table.
I think they can't hear any of the online folks.
Matt, we can't hear you either. It looks like you're trying to say
Yeah.
something.
Uh,
So
Yeah.
we might be having a little technological glitch here. I'll let Pam,
Noel, can you hear us? Can you speak?
says type here.
I can
We
hear you
could
guys.
type-
Can you hear me?
No, everybody's off mute. We can't hear anybody. Our speakers are on,
No, I can hear you. Yes, she can hear us.
but our speakers are.
You hear me?
So our speakers are not working on our end, Pam, if that helps you at all, but we can, they can hear us.
Hello?
That's weird because it was working fine for a minute ago.
Anybody?
The applicant has said he will extend the erosion control. All right, thanks.
Oh, there.
Um,
Noel, can you hear each other?
Mr. Chair,
yeah,
I'm curious, and the information is not here, where the bottom elevation of this
right,
sand filter is in relationship to the water table.
right. That question we are asking, and I think, Adam, if you can hear us okay, the question that I think we've already asked you, which you, I think,
Right.
told us that you don't have that information because you weren't designing the system. is we need to know, we would like to know, since it is jurisdictional, even though it's a health department purview issue, what the distance between the bottom of this leach system is, whatever depth that goes to, and the groundwater elevation, because
It
we were
is 2
between
feet.
the communication issues, volume and so forth, hearing, and what's on the plans. That is a point of information. My question to you would also be, if you're following this, you said that they did a test pit in the area, not right where the leach field would be necessarily, but, bottom of sand filter, but near it. Given how tight that space is, that site is there a reason they couldn't do it right where it is? We usually want it to be right where the, unless there's a valid reason for not doing it. So I know you may not be able to give us an extended answer, but I think I'd like to know how close was it? We usually sometimes even see marked on the plans where the test pit was done.
You know what else I don't see on this particular plan, Mr. Chair, is I don't see the existing, oh, there's the test pit.
Okay.
Where is
Where do you
the
see this?
The little square block.
yeah.
Okay, Adam, I'm sorry, we looks like we did
I
have
think
our
that's-
vice chair
that's
usually.
usually simple for a test pit.
The little square box, if you wanna try to highlight it on the plan with your mouse, we can see that part at least. I think that might be the test pit,
Yes, right here.
right
Oh, where the tank is.
by
Yep.
where the tank is indicated, with the comments, the 1,500 gallon H20 ST tank. And arrow points right down above that. Is that 4 blocks of 2 shaded and 2 not? There, yeah, right, just down with your mouse a little more, right there. Is that little block thing there, the test pit? Or is that the,
The
Tank?
checkered pattern, that's the test pit.
okay? Noelle can hear you and she's gonna type something for us, because we,
I think he's gonna need to provide them the plan.
Oh, absolutely.
That is,
Plus, I just noticed one other thing on this plan. Where's the existing system? And what are they gonna do with it?
He said, he did mention that it was gonna go in the exact same spot, so they're gonna clean it all out.
What
and
was it?
They're gonna dig it all out, and then they're gonna bring in the sewer sand and put it right where it was, but there's not much
no,
detail on this plan. for that.
is the bottom of this 1,500 gallon tank, which is shown at 227. In the water table? I thought I heard earlier the water table was around 230.
I don't know if any. Can you hear me?
Shows the pump. All
Yeah, we don't have any with this one page we have, we don't have any of the
he has
details.
more, but apparently it's a.
Adam, I can hear you. Or- sorry.
Could you tell them first of all, that it's 2 feet separation?
Adam, you could do a nod of your head for this one. The question that we're being asked right now is, has the health department received this and are they reviewing it? Have they approved? You
Yes,
know?
they've received it. I don't know about the approval. I was trying
Thumb
to
up or
check.
thumb down? I can't hear you.
Oh. Submit.
Thumb up,
well,
I think. So, yes, health has received it, but they have not gotten back to you with an okay, or have they?
Oh, no, they have. No,
Do we have a health
We
agent?
have a peer review.
But Tim says there's a peer reviewer. Okay. No confirmation. Okay, all right. So, I guess,
So what would the board like to see additional information?
well, I think we're looking for a couple pieces of information, whether it's strictly in our peer review or related, because again, this is so jurisdictional by the site being so tight. I think we're very sympathetic to replacing septic systems and repairing septic systems is a high priority for us, especially near a water body. And we recognize that this site is very tight. You can't go closer to the lake with any of this work. We wouldn't want that. So he's working about the only spot he can do it. But the type of design that I'm seeing, I don't know if Neil.
I've never seen this.
We've never seen it, so we're not familiar with it. Not that, again, that's the health department purview. I'm not trying to overstep that, but it is right up against the 100-foot, and some parts of it are within the 100-foot wetland buffer. We're on a lake that's very sensitive wetlands resource. And so I think what we're looking for is the groundwater height.
It would certainly, the
relation-
water table on the drawings
Right,
Personally, I'd like to see some more details so we can understand some of the engineering of this.
Right, I think that that set of plans is with the engineer person that Adam mentioned, who designed this. And that maybe that could be shared with us if the health department has seen it, so that would have maybe all the details we would want to see. But as we just had Steve, one of our members mention, Adam, the question came up, the elevation that you gave us earlier before you got cut off for audio wise. For the groundwater, it appears that that 1,500 gallon tank might be sitting in the groundwater as opposed to being above groundwater, which is much preferred, I know. So there was a question to try to confirm that with the groundwater elevation on the site. I'd like to see where the groundwater test pit was done. If that square block is the location of the test pit, then so be it. We can't tell from I can't tell at least from what it says on there.
So septic design would give you all the information you need.
Right.
And a revised plan showing the silt sock or siltation barrier goes right to the front corner of each side of the house instead of just terminating by itself. So Adam, if you can, if the board is looking for the siltation device that you have to return to the house to catch anything that may run off from any of the site work in a heavy rain. So it's captured to the house instead of just running out down the property line. So if you can revise the drawing and show the barrier capturing any runoff, and also provide the septic design plan, which will give them all the answers that they're looking for as far as your modeling, your groundwater, your soil testing, and what type of system this is.
Okay,
ESHGW is estimated seasonal high groundwater.
Estimated as opposed to done by a test pit or just estimated?
Yeah, they probably determined it by modeling or standing groundwater when they did the test.
So the tank is in the groundwater.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, because it's a pump system.
You don't have a lot of.
Can anybody hear me?
They don't pump, the tank doesn't get pumped down to nothing.
Yeah, I
so it
can
won't
hear you.
flow, it's not
I
gonna
don't know
flow,
if you ever
I do
conveyed
have
to
one
them.
more question.
Sure.
that
Not related to
One
the.
confirm that
the
we did
system,
know
it was
that
more
the
of a
2.7
site operation. I realize the applicant
to
can't answer.
groundwater.
Yeah, they really
The
have to look in the
proposed
chat.
Temporary
I
stone
don't think they are.
construction entrance, is that for the wash?
Sorry, yeah, it's right there.
Are we gonna mitigate any of the mud making its way up to the street?
When you say wheel wash, you mean for future the property
Yeah.
owner?
Well,
fencing on the
Tire truck,
Yeah.
hauling out
Okay.
dirt and everything.
Yeah.
In these types of projects, you see all the mud migrating out to the road.
Yeah, it's called a tire scrubber or something like that, yeah. I think, Adam,
I think, because it's outside of the.
you understand what the board's looking for, Adam?
Yes.
Okay,
Well-
Pam, could you do us a favor? I can't click on it, but if you could click on the chat. And see if there's anything else that either Noel or Adam might have put in there that we could see. All I can look at is a screen here, I can't.
We're not able to hear them, Pam.
Yeah, I think she- but maybe not.
We can't hear Pam either, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can't hear me either.
you know, don't think it's unmuted, we can't hear it. Technology loves.
It's weird.
I can hear you, Pam.
Groundwater is 230.7, says. Yeah, it's helpful to know. 0.7.
Right there in the middle of the drawing.
Yeah, the bottom of the tank is at 227, so it's gonna be 3 feet into the water.
Yeah.
No,
Above.
above the water.
Yeah.
So it's 3 feet above the water, the tank. If it's 230 on the site in that location, the tank is, bottom of the tank is 227, so it should be about 3 feet above, which is good. That's better than being in the groundwater.
227
is lower than 230, but.
Just proceed.
Oh, I'm thinking,
We
yes.
can't hear them.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I
that's-
think,
Okay.
I think we should, I
Okay,
can reach out to him, but he did acknowledge that, what the board is looking for.
Right, I'm trying to be sensitive to the fact that the septic repairs usually is a trusting need to get. moving.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. Are they pumping this thing every week, or Adam, do you know, what the circumstances are with the homeowner?
I am not sure
Can you
right
type
now.
at him?
I think it's because he
Sorry,
shared.
I keep.
I think we lost him after he started sharing the screen, didn't we?
No, we still had them for a little while.
Audio?
We were sharing, yeah, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared.
And table our current discussions, I can't read with Noel.
I don't think that makes sense. Oh, well.
Yeah, this is not, we're not having a fully vetted discussion
She's
here.
not sure about the owner. Okay,
Yeah,
so that's not travel. Okay. All right, so given the technical difficulties that we're experiencing, I wanted to make sure we get answers to everything. I think I'll have Tim. We'll follow up directly with you, Adam, with some of the stuff, make sure that your responses are understood by us. I think you seem to indicate you understand we were looking for some more information. We want to be sensitive to moving this along. We recognize septic system repairs are only being done because they have to be, and not because the owner feels like it. And so we want to do what we can to move this forward in a proper manner and expeditious manner if possible. But we'd
Okay.
also like to get a little more information too. So Tim, your suggestion as far as moving forward, oh, one before I forget, Matt, I did ask if you had any other input, and I want to give you a chance to do that so that you could then depart if you don't have anything else to add at this point. We can't hear him.
Yeah, he matches
Hi,
type.
he's just typing in something.
No, let's go.
Is there
He was
some-
basically saying it was, if it was designed to Title V, then we're assuming that it's gonna be approved by Board of Health, but, he's meeting, I think, Matt, I think what you're saying is it's going by the guidelines of Title V as far as groundwater separation and everything.
Yeah. probably.
I assume you still can't hear me, right?
Right now, if we can see the chat.
I can hear you.
Yeah, if it
Can we-
meets
can we
Title
get-
V,
can we-
if
Adam,
it's
can you
approved
stop
by the
sharing,
Board of
please?
Health, then it's.
We're gonna try
presumed-
something technology wise to see if we get the sound back. If Adam stops sharing a screen, Pam, would we be able to see the chat that's down there? Because there's 17 things in there now. We only see them for a few seconds. I don't think we need to see the plan. Say something, Adam, if you would.
Hello?
You're
Hello?
not muted, but we
Nothing?
not hear anything. No.
No, I
it's
can
okay,
still hear you.
sorry. Who has control of the screen? Pam, is that you?
That's me with the thing.
Oh, no. Oh, can you click on the chat? If you can move it across. I'd like to open the chat and just see what the comments are there. Maybe. Oh, there we go. So you know we can read those. You have to click on got it.
Max the screen if you would, Tim, please.
Be patient for a second there, Adam. We're just gonna catch up on some of these chat ones.
Yep.
You have to click on it. No, can you close the chatting as a guest? You got it. Up a little, up to the got it there. There to the right. Yeah, I think okay, now we scroll up to the top maybe. Okay, thanks. Okay, we're gonna do a quick read of the 15 or so comments just so to see where we are with this. Hang on. He could confirm that is, he would like it here as well, or email. Separation 2 feet. Separation, groundwater, 2-foot separation, see chart. Or chart. I'm not sure.
Tim,
Yeah.
make sure that Tina can hear.
Yeah, Tina, speak up if you can't hear, but if that won't work. So I see I read down to Noel has said, I'd like to make motion to continue this hearing until our audio conditions improve. It's not fair to discuss the project when the applicant can't respond, and table our current discussions until we continue it. Okay.
I concur.
Yeah, I think that's fine. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page and make sure that Tim
I'll reach out to him.
reach out. So we will continue this hearing to the next meeting and ask the information be shared with Tim and Adam. And Adam, Tim will forward that along to us as he gets it from you. We'll review all that. Nat, if you have any other comments and you want to, I see what you said about if it's in compliance with Title V. That's
presumed.
It's presumed to comply with WPA. So we want to see what the health department thinks. Yeah, okay. And separations and so forth should be presumed to be accurate for Title V. If you have anything else you want to ask or add online, yeah, it's an email. Thank you. Exactly. All right. So I would entertain a motion to continue this hearing for the 8 Bernier Lane, project to the evening of August 9th at
You have a 7:15 already.
And that's the warehouse. So I'd go at least 7:45.
7:45 PM. Adam, you got that? 7:45 PM on the 23rd.
On the 9th.
I'm sorry, the 9th of August, thank you. It's 23rd, 20th.
Our next meeting, Adam, you'll be continuing. Are you okay with that?
Yes,
Okay, thanks. So any other questions about that? Take a motion first. Okay, thank you, Steve. Second, okay, Noel, or is anybody here? Any other questions? Aye. Oh, clever. One letter vote. Good job, Noel.
Nice.
Couldn't keep it. Okay, so all in favor? Aye, okay, so moved. So Adam, we'll catch up to you informationally via email with Tim, and then we will.
I'll distribute to the board.
He'll distribute to the board, and then we will, we'll see you on the 9th.
And we will need the Board of Health approval, and we will need a DEP. file.
We will need the DEP number too as well. Hopefully by then you have it. We cannot close the meeting without the DEP number. Close the hearing rather. Close the meeting.
okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Matt. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you hanging in there. Sorry for the
Apologies
delay,
for the technical difficulties.
but I appreciate it, and we'll be in touch about what happens. Well, let me ask you, will you be available on the 9th to talk about your schedule? Because like I said, they're probably gonna want to do a sidewalk, or would you prefer we just try to, if we can get you, we'll meet on the 12th or the 19th or whatever, if we decide we're gonna do a sidewalk on that project, or would you rather just, the time it's gonna be? I'm not sure we'll come up at the very beginning of that half an hour we're giving them on the 9th, but the warehouse project on the 9th, but we can certainly get priority to get that decided on. It's up to you. You can just let us know too by email. We got 2 weeks. All right. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we need to arrange for permit signing. Yeah,
Okay.
what's your preference and need? What do we need to sign?
So I don't have anything that I know of that needs to be signed at this point, but we do have some applications from Fafford regarding Lovers Lane and Celestial Circle for some certificate of compliances,
Right,
And
and
roads are on some.
No, just on
individual lots.
individual lots.
right, so these are the ones that Ann had talked about going to see,
Yeah.
but that probably because they
Yeah,
need.
so, what I can do is I can go through them and I can look and see if they're met their conditions, make sure everything's growing and it's stable.
Right, I think a couple didn't do rain gardens. They had
and then,
mentioned that they
yeah,
were
a couple
supposed
of them
to.
have rain gardens,
But no, I mean, a couple where I think she said we're supposed to have done rain gardens and they never did though. And so in a case like that, I never asked the question, but my question would be, what does the commission do in a situation like that? I mean, it's years, 2 or later since they put it in. Is it more disruptive to put a rain garden in? Is it okay to? Whatever, we'll have to see. So yeah, if you look through those, how many do you think they
there
have?
was probably about, I think they dropped off about maybe 6 or 7 of them. I think they're all on that side where the buffer zone was at the end of the road. The other side's high, so. But I can look through them. I can look through and see if there's any special conditions, then I'll recommend to the board whether they're in compliance or not.
Okay, all right, and you'll let,
Pay special attention to the ones that do have the rain gardens, because
Okay.
that's. Rain gardens, guys,
and
ridiculous.
Half the stuff is dead in the rain garden.
And they're never gonna be maintained properly, never, I mean, maybe for a short period of time.
Yeah,
Long
until they
term,
get overtaken by-
long term, they're never gonna, the soils are gonna fill up with fines.
Yeah, and you can't, how do you regulate that?
Right.
You can't.
But every so often, they'll probably have to be completely excavated and re-soiled and repopulated, nobody's gonna do that.
well, we'll start off and.
Yeah, they put them in, so if they put them in, they met the regulation.
Right,
Okay.
but just,
And if you'll let Jesse know too from DPW that we have gotten that, you've gotten that, because I know he was communicated to originally, and he said, well, you gotta talk to. Because I think the person from Fafford that reached out, the email I saw, was asking Jesse basically, what's the story, can we get these approved to the town? I understand DPW asked me that, and he was like, well.
Oh, the
Concom-
roads themselves?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So he was pushing on the roads, but Jesse's comment was, well, Concom has to approve the plots and something with planning board too, or zoning, somebody else has to say something, he said two different commissions.
Yeah, so they,
So just,
yeah,
just let Jesse know, that we're gonna have you look at that stuff, evaluate those.
they want the town to accept the roads, and
Right.
the roads were never intended to be accepted. It's a private, they need an association. I think that's what their attempt was, but we're not budgeting on that. Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, those were never, they were never intended to be.
Yeah, I'm not saying,
No, I
I
know.
don't wanna say anything back to Baffert, but I do wanna let Jesse know that we got the stuff and that we're gonna look at the lots. And then beyond that, yeah, that's the town saying that to them on the road.
And there's issues with the former Hall Road.
Yeah.
And that detention.
Yeah, I don't
basin
know if
down
they
there,
restored that,
basin
so-
two or
so,
whatever,
yeah, there's probably a-
issues back there.
There's probably several orders of conditions that cover different things. So, the only ones that I have requests for right now, as far as I know, are individual houses.
Yeah.
So those are the, people are in them, they've been in them for a year now, everything's established. But we'll take a look and make
Yeah,
sure,
take
if
a
there's any steep slopes, I'll make sure that they're not eroded.
Take a look and let us know.
Yeah.
I think for when it comes up on the roads, and detention basins, we're gonna have to go out, because
Yeah.
we've been out there on multiple occasions, we'll go out, we'll look at it and
Might even want BSC to, you know.
probably because they've made substantial changes to the original plans without approvals.
Okay.
Pam, you can't hear. Can you, I switched speakers.
So I can
Oh,
hear you.
okay. Very faint to hear you, can you crank the volume?
So I can't turn up my volume.
Keep going.
You can now. Can you hear me now?
Very
Very
faintly,
faintly.
very faintly, we can't even tell where it's coming from in the room here.
How about that, Pam?
Ooh, What about now?
No, now you're more faint.
So there's 3 speakers. That's the speaker.
And I can't see what you are clicking on
This one
from here.
This is the one we were on originally. Yeah, Pam, I don't know what's going on.
Tim, just hit the mute and mute it and then unmute it.
Itself.
No,
How's that, Pam?
I can hear you fine.
I don't see one.
it shouldn't be coming through the TV anyway, it should
Yeah.
be coming through the speakers. and the
No,
sound.
yeah, yeah. How
But we
about select what
Here,
was
here,
originally selected?
Right there,
TV,
yeah.
which is not proper.
Okay, well, as much as I would love to.
Sounded like Pam was in the closet.
As much as I would love to fix the sound, I don't think we really need to worry about it too much since we don't have any more permits signing. I don't see anything else on the agenda. Is there anything else that the board would like to bring up? Either Noel on the chat or Steve or Neil, anything you all have? Okay, so.
I think it's weird still getting emails from Ann, but
Yeah, we,
Tim,
gives me the heebie-jeebies at this point.
Yeah, we'll have to work on that. We'll have to work on the website, changing the stuff and getting both the meeting posting, that it's gonna be a combo thing as well as the people online and information. I will try to reach out again to.
You have to get you on there as chair.
yeah, that's why I tried switching the speakers.
Super high priority for me here. I want to reach out to Ariana and see what's going on with her. I'll try emailing her, texting her and calling her all 3 again, just to let you know and see what her status is. I know she has occasionally for work or other reasons had to think that this has been an extended lack of communication back, so I'm
We
concerned.
were talking about sidewalks and when was the last time she's actually on us?
And it's been tough. I know she works a lot of Saturdays, that's what I heard. Anyway, part of the grant. Maybe it's about, but
So it's still.
yeah, so I'm gonna reach out, just letting you know that part of it, and otherwise, I guess we're. Gonna entertain a motion to close the adjourn, thank you. So adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I know that Noel already. There's another aye. Thank you, Noel. Thank you for participating.
Gentlemen, I do have a question.
Thanks, Tina. Thanks, Pam.
Thank you both.